250,000 people call this home. These are the barrios, neighborhoods clustered on the fringe of Guayaquil, the largest city in Ecuador, and still growing. The port city of Guayaquil sprawls on the west coast of Ecuador, crowded with people and problems. Scattered throughout the city are dozens of PeaceCorps volunteers. This is the story of 3 of them.
Buenas tardes, señora.
My name is Jim Similian from Marblehead, Massachusetts. I've been in the Peace Corps for 18 months. I'm working in a community development project in one of the barrios suburbanos, or one of the outlying city slums.
Da una sonrisa, por favor. Washington, te van a hacer famoso.
When I first saw the barrio, I was frightened. I think it was such a ghastly sight for me. 75% of Guayaquil doesn't have any pavement on the streets, and it's even worse out in our neighborhood because the area is built over tidal mudflats. And to get out to our community center, we had to pass over some rickety bamboo bridges. And we arrived there, and the reaction, my first reaction, and the reaction of my companion who was to work there with me, was just to laugh. We just couldn't possibly believe that we would be working in an area like this for 2 years, and that what they showed us as the building for the community center. I don't know what I had pictured a community center to be like, but I had certainly expected more than a bamboo shack. Once a month they have what is called El Aguaje Grande, or the big tide, which is really a flood tide. During this big flood, the flood tide, water comes right up to our house and in fact gets into our water tank. About 50% of the city does not have piped water, and that's our common bond. And in my house, as in all the other houses in this area, we buy water from water trucks, and we buy water by the gallon. The city gives one barrel, one oil drum of water a week to every family. But this is nothing, because the average family here is 12 or 13. And with this one barrel, they have to cook, drink, and wash their clothes and themselves. It's a terrible problem. This depends upon the water. There's water everywhere, but everybody is dependent upon this water duct. Guayaquil has doubled in population in the last 15 or 20 years, and it's almost tripled. And it's just a tremendous problem here because there isn't enough employment for all the people that are coming here. Yes, Guayaquil had some beautiful plans for future growth about 10 years ago. But squatters came in, they went out into this area that was all staked out, pulled up the stakes, and built themselves a little shack. Guayaquil is the city of promise for many, but they come here and they find themselves without a job, and then they build themselves a little shack over a mud flat, and here they stay.
Buenas tardes, señora. De una sonrisa ahora porque están tomando fotos para la televisión.
Ah, sí.
Sí, esta señora que viene ahora con la cámara.
Y bonita facha que me encuentra.
No, siempre guapa es usted, no.
Ay, guapa.
At the beginning there was suspicion of any foreigner. So the people were very, very hesitant to believe anything I said. And they thought perhaps I was a politician, and I told them I was from the Peace Corps, Cuerpo de Paz, and they thought I was an evangelista, or a missionary. But the thing that convinced them was the opening of the community center. Words don't convince them, just actions.
¿Cuántas son? 4 nomás. Bueno, está bien. Está bien.
Up to this moment, the courses are principally just for the women in the barrio. They teach courses in home economics, nutrition, sewing, embroidery, hairdressing. And on the second floor, we have 4 little rooms which we use for the classes. And the only problems we have is if we have 2 classes at the same time, because there's just so much noise that you can't hear what's going on.
2 veces para después hacer los cruzados de cadena. Está muy bien, señorita Isa, su trabajo.
With the courses in the community center, we hope to teach the women to change their ways of thinking. We hope to teach them a profession so that they could earn money, and we try to teach them things that they can bring to their home for the betterment of their home, for the care of their children. These quarters we're in now are just temporary, but financially our community center is in very, very poor condition now. So I had thought that perhaps I would write to the United States, but then I decided later that this really is not the point, that is no solution for the problem. The solution has to come from here in Guayaquil. Since I've been here, almost, as I say, close to 2 years now, I've been trying to get permission to use 3 lots of land that belong to the city to use for the construction of a community center.
Gracias. ¿Puede llevarnos al 4º piso, por favor? Muchas gracias.
But for almost 2 years, I've been coming here 2 and 3 times a week trying to get something done. But the bureaucracy here is just terrible, and it's a very hard thing to fight.
Buenos días, Lourdes. ¿Está el arquitecto? No está. Por abajo está. ¿Está dónde? Construcción y ornato. ¿Cómo? Ya hizo el informe. Bueno. Entonces, ¿podría hablar con él o...? ¿Y en qué piso está? Primero alto. Ah, sí, me llevó ahí el otro día. Ya, muchas gracias.
Now, I've been told that every time I came to the municipio, or the city hall, I should have brought a group of citizens from the barrio, or my neighborhood. But I know that nobody, no committee, could stand this type of punishment, 2 or 3 days a week for almost 2 years. So in this case, I thought it would be much easier and much faster if I just did it myself. Every time I've gone, they've told me that it would definitely be presented at the next Consejo meeting. And there's always some little excuse. Either it's a political crisis and that the city council is too busy with political problems, or they've forgotten some little form that has to be turned in, or so-and-so is on vacation and won't be back for 2 weeks and he took all the papers with him. And this is the sort of excuse I've been listening to for almost 2 years. And I went in the other day and nothing had been done. I told the city planner that I was ready to throw the towel and that I wasn't going to wait anymore. That for 2 years I'd been working here and I could have done a great job out in my barrio, but that I had absolutely no cooperation at all from the host country counterparts. That is the city, the local government. And apparently it had effect.
Fine. Do you think it wouldn't be definite today then? If it goes into the council meeting today, it won't definitely be decided, or?
I hope we can get through with it today. The situation outside is...
I know. That just makes it doubly bad. I know. That always seems to happen every time we...
I hope the following. I hope the number of members of the council makes it possible to make a
quorum. Do they need a quorum to meet, or?
A quorum to meet. They need a quorum to meet. I think there's not going to be it.
I certainly hope not. Fine. At any rate, I'll stop by this afternoon to see what the results are.
Right.
But you
I'll
could...
be upstairs.
Fine. Could you,
Yes.
at any rate, could you talk to Dr. Ayala?
I'm going to talk as
To
soon as
see-
I leave this office.
Fine. Well, thank you very much, Architect. And then I'll check by here this afternoon and see what the results are.
The most annoying thing is that it's such a simple procedure. It requires a total of an hour and a half's work. But I've just been given the runaround for almost 2 years. I think with time, when we do get better cooperation here, I think the Peace Corps is going to do great things.
My name is Marnie Elberson, and I'm from Hempstead, New York. I've been here in Guayaquil for, I think it's a year and 5 months. Primarily my job has been living and working in a community that's on the north side of town in Guayaquil. I work primarily with a community center in this community. We use the CARE milk program, and in this, CARE is getting quite good, and there has to be community effort. The mothers have to come down to make the milk. We've made it very strong. If the mothers don't come down, the gringa does not help to make the milk, and the children do not have milk that morning. We also have vitamin pills that are given to the children. And so they had a banana milk and a vitamin pill every morning. Afuera, y la leche. Ponga. Ya, tome la leche. In this community center, there were classes in sewing and cooking, and I think there were also classes in English. So the community center was really only occupied during the afternoon and a little bit during the evening. And so we decided that it should be occupied in the morning. And we got the idea to have a kindergarten. We thought that was a need of the community because there's so many children that would have trouble in school, so they should be prepared for school before they entered. And so the gringos went up on the hill to decide to recruit the people from the community. And we say to people, we're thinking of starting a kindergarten in the community center. Wouldn't you like to do it? Yes, yes, we'd like to do it. Okay, there's a meeting at such and such a time. Yes, yes, we'll be down the hill to the meeting. And no one would show up. But we met one man from the community who was very, very interested. And he sat down with us and very nicely told us that we really weren't going about it the right way. And he said, you have to make it seem like it's something that they've just got to have. Like it's something that if they don't have it, they won't be in. And so he said, you advertise it in the newspaper and you advertise it on the radio, and you don't go up after them. You let them come down. So we did that. And the first meeting we had, we must have had between 50 and 100. I don't really remember. And after 2 or 3 more meetings, he was elected president of the parents committee of the kindergarten. And from there, it just grew. We came in at night. There were a lot of lights, and it looked like quite a booming city. Then the next day, we began to see the dirt. We began to smell the urine smells on the street and to see the children running around quite ragged. But it didn't really hit at first. It was dirty, but we were expecting a lot worse. And then slowly after a year, it began to sink in. We became a part of it and began to feel it closing in on us. I can accept it and I live with it. And I don't see a lot of it, but there's still that feeling that I'm sure people feel around here, that there's something kind of oppressive. I feel that there is a problem of being a girl in the Peace Corps in a South American country, I think mostly in a place like Ecuador or Peru. Women are not treated with a great deal of respect in South America. In the courting situation, they're treated with a great deal of respect. A woman is not to be touched. A woman is a prize and that sort of thing. But any woman on the street, very filthy things are said to her. She's usually not touched, but you feel like you're touched when these things are said to you. Ours is an older community. There have been generations and generations of families living there. It's a much tougher community. There's a bickering, it's noisier. There's always people screaming and children crying and radios blasting. We got the idea that there should be some more work done with the girls, and so we decided to start a girls' club, mainly because girls here often lead a very dull life, and they should learn to do things with the life that they spend sitting around the house. The woman, the Ecuadorian woman who's working with me in the club is quite an exceptional woman. She has worked out in El Cisne for many, many years. She has no training. I'm not even sure if she's been through high school, but she's one of the finest social workers I've ever seen. I joined the Peace Corps for very idealistic reasons. I wanted to work. I wanted to do something. I'd been closed up in a university long enough doing things for myself, and I wanted to get out and do something for other people. I believed in the person-to-person type of work of foreign aid. I believed in community development. I believed in getting people to have respect for themselves and getting them to do the work. And then I came down here, and I'm not sure if this is possible to do. I guess it's because I work in something called community development, which is very wide open, and you never know if you're doing the right thing.
Acaban de ver a los trovadores del sur en el vals Flor deshojada. Universal transmite desde Guayaquil, República del Ecuador, país amazónico. Operamos en 1270 kilociclos onda larga.
My name is David Zimmerman, and I'm from Cranford, New Jersey. I've been here about a year and 5 months. I primarily work with it's called the Cooperativa de Ahorro y Crédito, which is a credit union. But one thing that's lacking in the community was a place where people could buy building materials like cement or bricks or nails or building blocks, cinder blocks, or whatever they need to build their house. And they would have to either come to the center of town or pay exorbitant prices for these materials. So we started this building deposit. When I first saw it, I said, I don't see how I'm going to be here for 2 years. It was pretty wild. First of all, I couldn't see how people could be living out there in general. Never mind myself being a delicate North American being out there. But things have worked out. I finally, I got out there. And a community is more the people than anything else, and I got to meet the people, and I had a few drinks with them, got to talking with them, and I've been, accepted into the community. Bajamos este cemento. ¿4, 5? No.
4 fundas rotas hay ahí. Ahí está otra rota, allá está otra rota, arriba está otra. Pero arregle como racional, mi querido amigo, no, en esta forma no arregla nunca usted. Acá somos ignorantes, no se le va a devolver.
Tiene una otra funda o una cosa.
Parece palabras, mi querido amigo, vea, las cosas están claras la vista. Se le repone cada fibra y se acabó el lío. Le agradezco, no saca nunca usted así.
Nosotros no hacemos la funda, es una cosa de la fábrica. Préstame una mapa o una cosa para... The people there really feel that they're members of this community. They say, yo soy pobre, yo soy cisneño, I'm poor, and I'm a member of this community. And they really know, and they're proud to tell anyone in the center of the city where they're from. They're from El Cisne. ¿Cuánto le pagué para la agua? 9. ¿Y antes? 6. ¿O 9?
No.
Siempre hay un poquito más polvo de leche también.
Bueno, entonces ella habrá que indicarle para que nos dé una nueva orden.
There are a lot of frustrations that I've experienced. It's just part of the way of life here that things don't always start on time, the way we're used to things starting in the States.
Cuando le oye llorando dice, ¿qué hora amanece para levantarme a preparar la leche?
Y con tantos babies en mi casa yo no puedo dormir durante la noche y tengo que levantarme bien temprano en la mañana para repartir la leche. Ya estoy perdiendo todo mi tiempo de dormir. They were waiting for the doctor, and the doctor said he would come, so they accepted his word that I guess eventually she would come, and they waited around for an hour and a half, and as it turned out, she came, and things turned out all right. So I live with a family. I have a room in their house. There are 8 children in the family. They just had the mother just had a baby. It has its drawbacks. It's certainly not the cleanest place to live. Every time I come home at night, I kill about 5 to 10 cucarachas, which are cockroaches crawling on my wall. And I've counted as many as 50 mosquitoes outside my mosquito netting. And there are rats and mice, but that's the way they live.
Entonces, creo que esto sería algo nuevo en la marcha de nuestra institución, porque los estatutos no han previsto en estos casos. Y si nosotros queremos exigir esa mitad más uno de los socios, va a ser bien difícil. Tendríamos que dejar que transcurran 7 días.
Our credit union is fairly young. We've only been in existence for about a year and a half. But it's a very active credit union, so that we do a lot of work in the community. We have an elected board of directors. I'm the vice president, and I'm in charge of the committee for indebtedness.
Señoras y señores cooperativas, por la presente, saludarles a ustedes muy cordialmente y al mismo tiempo me permite informarles de los labores realizados por el Comité de Morosidad.
I feel personally now my job is sort of an aid in the decision-making process of the co-op. When something has to be done, I'll make a suggestion. Maybe they'll like it, maybe they won't, or then I'll try and do my part. I feel that it's quite a strong organization now. And when I leave, I'm positive that it'll be able to continue quite well without me. If I was to do it over again, I'd join the Peace Corps again. I think it's been very beneficial to me. I would say that maybe the Peace Corps experience is more beneficial to me than perhaps it is to the people I'm working with, although I can't answer for them. I know I'll feel sad about leaving my friends here, leaving Ecuador. But what I'm trying to say is just that I've really felt good about a lot of things that have happened to me down here.
Están tomando la foto. Quiero que sea completamente natural. No lo quiere como posado. Entonces tiene que ser completo.
If one of the purposes of the Peace Corps is to win friends for the United States, is to change foreigners' views of the United States, then I think the Peace Corps, and my own project in particular, has been very successful.
The thing that's the most frustrating for me being in the Peace Corps is constantly having the feeling that I myself am not competent and wondering whether we're getting any place, whether we should even be down here, and if we are down here, if we're actually progressing or if we're going backwards.
No fue gol, o sea que no entró por los palos. No fue el negrito en la
cabecilla. La pelota no entró. I've had a lot of successes working there. I've also had some failures too, but I just feel at home, it's my home. That's all I can say. That's where I live. That's my home. They're my friends.